brain. Do you know how big the brain is? Here's a picture of our brain. How big do you think the brain is? What do you think? Go ahead and tell me.
About this much?
About this big?
Yeah.
What do you think?
About this big?
Yeah, brains are not really huge, but they're protected by our skulls, right? Do you know how much a brain weighs? Do you know how much it weighs? What do you think?
Like 30 pounds.
30 pounds? It's a good guess. That's pretty heavy, huh? What do you think?
15 pounds.
15? What do you think?
4.21.
4.21. You are super close. Your brain weighs about 3 pounds. Now, I brought this because a full thing of shortening like this weighs about 3 pounds. But our brain is not made of shortening, right? Our brain is made of tons of little cells. They're called neurons. Neurons. Do you know how many cells there are in our brains? Take a guess. How many cells? What do you think?
50.
50 more. What do you think?
1,000.
1,000 more. What do you think?
1,001.
1,001? I will tell you because it would take us a long time to get there. We have over 100 billion cells in your brain. And each one of these cells can send a message to the other. And it creates little pathways in your brain. Isn't that amazing? Now let's look at our poster of the brain right here. Because each part of the brain handles something different. Well, I want to show you a picture. Look at this. Do you see that? Guess what that is?
It's a brain.
That is a brain. That's not just any brain. This is my brain. This is my actual brain. This is a picture of my brain. Now, I have to tell you, kind of a scary thing happened a couple of years ago. I had a stroke. Have you ever heard of that? A stroke is where a blood clot goes and it gets blocked in your brain, and it kind of kills one little part of your brain. Do you see that spot right there? Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness, that's where a blood clot got stuck. Now guess what? That part of my brain was the sensory part of my brain. Can you find it up here on our picture? What color is the sensory part of our brain? What color?
The orange.
The orange. It's right in the sensory part. So guess how I knew that I had had a stroke? What do you think, Maya?
You lost your feeling?
I lost feeling. I lost feeling on all the left side of my body. And it was the teeniest, tiniest little clot, and yet it made a big difference on my body. Now, the cool thing is about the brain is that even if a part of our brain gets a little bit damaged, it can repair itself. Look, here I am, I'm moving my left side, I can feel. If you pinched me, I would feel it and I would say, ouch, right? So that is because of something called neuroplasticity. Can you say that word with me? Neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity just means that your brain is continually molding and rewiring and changing. So let's have you take, I've got a piece of clay here, and you take a coin right there, and you take one, and I want you to press it into the clay. Can you do that for me? Press it inside there. Now, what do you think is going to happen to that clay when we, that's great, just press it right in there. What do you think is going to happen to that clay when we push those coins in there?
It's gonna tear.
It might tear, it might like break it apart if we push it really hard. What do you think?
Make the shape of it.
It's going to make, do you see how it left a shape? I'm going to show you. It left the shape of that. Do you see that? That is called neuroplasticity because the clay actually took the shape of whatever was on it. Now, when you see or you hear something or you taste something or you try something new, it makes an impression on your brain, and it actually changes your brain. And if you change the things that you do, then your brain changes too, right? So the cool thing about when I damaged my brain was able to rewire itself, and I am super great right now. Now, did you know that just like addictions can happen by things that you take in your mouth, addictions can happen by things that you see with your eyes? So sometimes people might see a lot of violent images, or they might see a lot of nasty pictures, and that can be addictive too. Because your brain starts saying, send me more, but the more times you look at bad pictures, you don't feel happier. You just feel sad, don't you? And kind of confused. So, we remember how we talked about neuroplasticity? That means we can make good choices for our brains and actually rewire our brains in a healthy way. So we're going to talk about how to boost your brain power. so that you can avoid addictions. Boost your brain power. Can you guys help me read these together? Number 1, you can just read it out loud with me. Watch shows where people are respectful to the body and kind to others. That's important, huh? Have you ever seen movies sometimes where you think maybe they're not being respectful or kind, or maybe they're not dressed appropriately, right? So we don't want to watch those kind of things. Let's talk about number 2. Read that with me. Don't go surfing. Am I talking about getting on a surfboard? Have you ever heard of like TV surfing or internet surfing? I'll tell you what that is. That's when you have like the remote control on your TV set and you're going, I wonder what's on. And you push the buttons, and you scan through. They call that surfing. You're going through all the stations to see what they have on. Have you ever done that?
Yeah.
Sure, we all do. Or sometimes even going on the internet and going, I wonder what this is, or I wonder what this is. That is called surfing. Now, a way to stay safe and to keep your brain safe is to choose a particular website or a particular TV show, and when your mom and dad say, yep, that's a good choice for you and for your brain, then you just go exactly to that website or you go exactly to that TV program. But we're not going to surf through a million ones trying to get there. Do you understand what that means? Okay, and the last one is tic-tac-toe. Tic-tac-toe. Do you think playing tic-tac-toe is going to help? No? Well, let me show you a new kind of tic-tac-toe. This kind of tic-tac-toe. And it all starts with a T, T, T. If you see something that makes you feel uncomfortable, whether it's on the TV or a movie or the internet or on the computer or even a video game, remember T, T, T. Turn it off, talk to a parent, and turn to something active. Let's talk about those for just a minute. Turn it off. How do you turn it off if you're on the TV? How do you turn it off? Just turn it off, right? How do you turn it off if it's the computer? What do you do?
You press the power button.
Sure, press the power button, unplug it, whatever you need to do, right? What about if you're in a movie theater? How would you turn it off?
Just walk out.
Just walk out. Did you know you can do that? If there's something in a movie that makes you feel uncomfortable, you can walk out. Yeah. Talk to a parent. Why is that important to talk to a parent about what we see?
So they can help you like figure out why it's so bad and figure out how not to do it again.
That is great. You are absolutely right. Have you ever seen something that maybe is scary or maybe it's confusing or nasty and you kind of feel bad? You kind of feel bad inside, and sometimes you might not even want to talk to somebody about it. You just kind of feel sad and lonely or maybe even a little scared. That happens to all of us. Does it mean you're in trouble? No, you didn't do anything wrong. Because you know what? There are some things that are not appropriate for kids all around us. So unfortunately, sometimes we see those things. But it's super important to talk to a parent, because when you talk to your mom and dad, that's the best way to get those yucky feelings out. And then you can go play and have a good time and you don't have to worry about it anymore.
You're flipping through channels and there's a really bad channel and you turn it off and then you're like, oh, I think it's over. And then you turn it back onto the channel and it's still there. You can talk to your parents and see what channels not to watch and you should, and then some channels that you shouldn't watch.
That is such a great suggestion. I love that. And sometimes, if there's a movie you might really want to watch, sometimes the commercials are yucky. Has that ever happened to you? Where you're watching TV and the commercials might just make you feel yucky for some reason? So maybe it's the sort of thing where you could ask your mom and dad and say, is there a way that we could record this and we can watch it later without the commercials? Because maybe it's a great show, but maybe the commercials are yucky. So that's one idea that we could do, huh? So the last one of our tic-tac-toe is turn to something active. So if you see something that you don't like on the TV or on the internet, you turn it off, you talk to your parents, and then immediately turn to something active. What's something you could turn to do that would be great for your brain and for your body?
Like go play with friends or whatever.
Go play with friends.
go outside.
Awesome. Playing outside is perfect.
Go to the pool and swim.
Oh, wouldn't that be fun? Go splash in the pool. That would make all that stuff go right out of my head, huh? What would you do?
You could rollerblade or ride bikes.
Rollerblading or ride bikes. Isn't that awesome? So you guys already have some ideas of what you can do to turn to something active. So let's just read these again to share with our school so that they know what to do if they see something that makes them uncomfortable. You ready? Turn it off, talk to a parent, turn to something active. I can tell you guys are going to boost your brain power. You know exactly what to do. Thanks so much for coming to our class today. And one more. High five. Awesome job.